And welcome back to Meet the Leaders. I'm your host, Terrence Mikas, and my guest is John Ravitz, CEO of the Westchester County Red Cross. You saw some images right there of some of the work they do. Those were all pictures of disasters that they addressed in Westchester County. That's where the money went to. It wasn't just, pictures from, Ohio and all these other places. And that's what the goal is. 91 cents of every dollar goes to disasters in Westchester County. 96% of your staff or helpers or volunteer. That's why you're able to do it, to meet the needs of the people. It's really amazing.
Well, it is, and I'm so proud to be part of an organization that can use those two statistics. And when you think about the volunteers, Terrence, I mean, these are all people who have jobs, families, other obligations, yet they've made that decision and that commitment that if they want to be a disaster volunteer and on a weekly team, that phone could go ring at 3 o'clock in the morning, whether it be a weekday, a weekend, a holiday, and yet they'll pick up the call, get up out of bed, get in their cars, and go help their neighbors.
Now, let me ask you something. Let's go back to Haiti for a minute, in case you just joined us. John, you've said that because there was some question about whether the supplies were getting to people. You say at this point they are. The infrastructure was the problem. There was no infrastructure. Right. If someone, let's say someone had 2 weeks off, and they just said, I want to serve, but they want to go to Haiti. I mean, I don't know, a lot of people can't do that, but some people might want to. Is that possible through the Red Cross?
Again, Haiti was a little different than Katrina because, again, there was so much damage in Haiti and really we needed experienced people on the ground.
Because there was no place to keep the people.
Exactly.
Right?
And when we send a volunteer, whether it's to a local disaster or to a national disaster, we want them to be trained. More importantly, we want them to be safe. Mm-hmm. And so at that point, when those first few days after the Haiti earthquake, and we had people say, we can go, we can do, we really wanted to thank them for that, but we wanted to let them understand why we couldn't say, sure, we'll let you go to Haiti.
They'd be standing around.
Yeah, and also, again, the safety issues were so important. But the key thing, Terrence, is that your viewers need to know, and what I always tell people when they ask about Haiti is, we're going to be there for years. This is a relief and recovery operation that is so huge and so large, and as I said, really rebuilding a country. The Red Cross is going to be concentrating, obviously, on making sure that the people there have the shelters that they need to live in. And remember, now we're getting closer and closer to hurricane season. Mm-hmm. So those people now have to be in shelters that really can sustain a hurricane. Mm-hmm. We want to make sure that they have clothing. We want to make sure they have food and water. And one of the other areas that the Red Cross is working with other organizations on is livelihood issues. Yeah. We want to be able to get people who had jobs or were entrepreneurs in their own way and form back on their feet so that they can have the resources to help their families. But this is something that's going to go on for years.
And people don't realize that it hits when you're not, you're thinking, boy, I'd like to go to Katrina, I'd like to go to Haiti, I'd like to help. And then all of a sudden, God forbid, sometimes happens to someone or yourself just like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, no one thought in Mamaroneck all those floodings were going to happen. They just happened, and people's houses were gone, people that weren't thinking twice about it.
And that's our biggest obstacle, denial. People never think that a disaster could happen to them. And that's one of the things that we really have to continue. We don't want to sound like Chicken Little. We don't want to say the sky is going to fall, but what I really hope we can continue to do for the people of Westchester County is give them the resources and the tools that they can be better prepared if a disaster hits.
We're going to run some video again, just in case you just joined us, of certain images that took place right in Westchester County. And then when we get back, we're going to talk about some practical ways that you could be prepared for those kinds of things and show you some examples. And it's interesting, so stay right. Let's roll this right.
Bringing people who have big hearts, people who are willing to share, people who are willing to go out of their ways and make themselves uncomfortable to come in and help others.
I encourage anyone, really, there's a need for all kinds of volunteers, especially the Red Cross. They're a great organization. When the Red Cross comes, you're in a lot of trouble, and they make you feel comfortable. You're in a tough time when they come, they put you at ease, they help people get clothing, food allowance, housing for the night.
I think all of us need to give back to our communities, just like the Red Cross exists to do. And I think we will all feel better if we give something back to improve the quality of life for all of the people that we live with.
I've never gotten paid for anything that was as gratifying as what I do for free. It gives me a feeling of being part of something that is bigger than I could ever be on my own.
All our volunteers are trained. You're not sent out for any job until you're trained to know that you can handle that job and handle it well.
Red Cross is a very important part of my life, and With the training and the drills, it becomes second nature to you. You don't even stop to think about it. You just know what you have to do and you do it.
The Red Cross provides many aspects of trainings that are critical to save lives, whether it's rescue operations, sheltering operations, whether it's CPR training. And that training is for volunteers who are not compensated for their time. They are compensated just by the thank you from another member of the community whose family you saved.
Tables were set up by the Red Cross to collect blood. Turned out